So my name is Garry McShane. I'm the Director of Brewing Operations for Cabarrus Brewing Company. We are a production facility brew pub. We do about 3,000 barrels a year. I'm the Director of Brewing Operations. I joined them about 2 years ago now. I moved out here from the West Coast. We love using Oculyze. So in the past, when I first joined Cabarrus, actually, I should backtrack a little. They were doing a lot of pitching from cone to cone. They weren't really checking viability or cell counts. They would just move, like I said, from cone to cone, and they kind of had a level in the cone that they just, in their mind, thought was good to go. I'm sure they had great fermentation, it seemed, but they really had no hard data to track batch to batch what the yeast was actually looking like and viability and so forth. So when I joined, I'd come from a background where we had a lab that would do extensive cell counting for us. I definitely knew how to count cells as well. But here at Cabarrus, like I said, we do about 3,000 barrels a year. It's a crew of 2 people, and I am one of those people. So the amount of time it takes to collect some yeast, prepare it, put it under the microscope, count it, do all that, we just simply don't have the time for in a day. We're always doing a lot of production, moving beer, brewing beer, and canning beer, sometimes all in the same day. So we needed something to help us save a lot of time, and that's where Oculyze came in. So now we are counting yeast throughout fermentation. We are using the cell counter on the app to give us a correct dosing rate, whether we choose to do it in gallons or by weight, which we 9 times out of 10 do by weight. So that's how we're now using Oculyze, and we're keeping track of generation to generation how the yeast is doing. Just trying to make sure we get the most out of our yeast as possible, really. We do not pitch fresh every time. We try to get as many generations as we can out of the yeast, as long as it's still viable and looking really good. But most importantly, as long as the beer batch to batch still is the same final product, isn't changing, say, getting a little more bitter or drying out more or so on. If we notice some change on that side of things, we'll get rid of that yeast and start a fresh pitch. Definitely in the creative process, this new beer, this new style that's getting really popular, the cold IPAs. We did one recently. Beer came out awesome, but lager yeast fermented a little warm. So we were trying to get creative with that and do we pitch at the same rate we would our lagers? Do we pitch a little less? So we did some trial runs, and that's where Oculyze really helped with that pitch rate calculator. Really helped us kind of give us a number to go off of, and then from there, depending on how fermentation went, we could pitch a little more, pitch a little less. So it's really great. It's almost like having a whole nother employee to help us with the creative side, which is really handy. So I'd say the most positive impact is making sure batch to batch we're having consistent fermentation. We do a daily track of pH, viability, and of course checking the Play-Doh. So having Oculyze and just being able to quickly pull a sample, check the yeast, see how everything's going, and then looking from that style of beer, say our blonde ale, for example, going batch to batch and seeing how fermentation is going is definitely a huge positive side for us. We're data freaks, and we love collecting as much data as we can And so yeah, having the ease of collecting more data is so positive for us. We have a 15 barrel brew house. That's our main production brew house. We sometimes double, triple, quadruple batch into 60 barrel fermenters. We also have 30 barrel fermenters. On the other side of the brewery, we have a 3.5 barrel brew house that we brew into 3.5 barrel fermenters, and we have a couple 7s as well. So we're really like utilizing that and trying to get creative, explore new ingredients, play around with new yeast. And these beers we really just serve in our tap room only to try to get some feedback from staff, see how sales go. If we're selling 3.5 barrels of beer in a week, that's really good. So we try to use that, and also use it as like an R&D type setup to take some of that sales data, just sensory, and say, hey, maybe we'll brew 15, 30 barrels of this beer and do it as a seasonal release in a couple months from now. Yeah, we do a lot of that, and that's where we really get to have fun and play around some new ingredients, yeasts, and so forth. So I'm I'll say I'm a hophead. I love hoppy beers. They have a special place in my heart. So our West Coast IPA is definitely my favorite. It drinks like a Pilsner. Has a little higher ABV. It's 6.5%. And it is just a really awesome hoppy beer. That's kind of like my shifty. Right now, though, we have a really great Czech lager that we brewed on our pilot system. That beer is absolutely delicious. So those have been my current go-tos. What's next? So we're going to explore some hop waters. Those are getting really popular. There's some great products that we saw this past CBC. So we're going to do some experimentation with hop water, something I've never really played around before. I certainly enjoy them. I think there's a market out there for it, whether it's small or large. We're not really sure yet, but we're gonna play around with those a little bit. We're always experimenting on our pilot system. We're doing some collab beers coming up here soon with some other local breweries that we're really excited about. And then every weekend here at the brewery it's quite an event. Food trucks, bands, so just trying to keep up with production, really.